Yeah, yo! What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Dashing, and we back for another Pokemon video. Today, we'll be checking out our Draft League review for Gen 7 and 8. So, basically, this is an announcement that I won't be playing anymore Draft League until Gen 9 comes out. I am considering going for another league if it's like a cap league, cap mons are allowed in the format. But for the most part, it's gonna be Gen 9. So it's a way to look back at the teams we drafted, the games we played, and look at our performance from the previous seasons. So to give you a background on my experience, before starting my first league, I kinda was into draft. Um, in the sense that I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. I kind of started with Wolfie Glick's content, and then I watched some of A Drive, Dan, aka A Drive, and I kind of started watching as well Gypsy, Mount Rushmore players like Aki, Matty, and Zazo. So I kind of got influenced by how they play and took some of their philosophies when it comes to battling and drafting. But yeah, without further ado, let's check out our first league. So our first league is the PML Season 2. I'm not really sure if this was Season 2, but that's how it was marketed, I guess. So this is the team I drafted. I'll give some insight about the format of the league. So PML is one of those wild leagues where they ban legendary mons, but they kinda allow some Ubers. Like as you can see, the Blaziken you see there is speed boost. So I can run speed boost or Blaze. So yeah, basically the philosophy is they ban legendary Pokemon. So even if it's not that good, like Regirock, stuff like that, it's gonna be banned. But part of the format is you have to draft like a Megamon, and all Megas are allowed. So people drafted like Megamens, Mega Blaziken, Mega Gengar, Mega Kang, Lucario, stuff like that. So it's a wild league. And this is the only Gen 7 game we played. We kind of started draft during the end of Gen 7. So this is the team I built. I was kind of late when it came to like the draft order. So I just decided to go for Mega Sableye to, not worry about like status mons. I had like a go-to check. So I was never gonna lose to stall because, Sableye. And I had Blaziken, Azu. Azu, this is Gen 7, so Azu is really strong. You don't have to worry about shit like Grassy Glide with your matchups. Unfortunately, the team could have been stronger if it wasn't for like the rules of the league. So the league had like a, what do you call this? Had like an item clause, so you can only run one item. You can't like run duplicate items. So I can't really run Eviolite on Porygon and Gligar. So that was kind of something I had to think about when going with my team building. So as you can see, this was a very promising first season, because as you can see, we were able to win first in our division. We had something like an 8-2, something like 8-2 or 9. I think 9-2. 9-2 record. That could have been 10-1 if I kinda, there was like a game, I think week 10, where I could have swept with Blaziken because I was running like I think I ran SD. Oh no. Yeah. I think I ran SD Blaziken, and I could have just Stone Edge the. Oh no. I could have Flare Blitz the what do you call this? The Salamence, but I went for like Blaze Kick because I wanted something more accurate, and it missed. So that missed cost us the game. So it's pretty minor. I was already guaranteed first place in the division, but just to get like a better record. So this is the team. We were able to win our quarterfinals, and then we actually lost to Jadon, who's a name that you'll see later on in the video. So we actually lost to Jadon twice. The first time was like in week 2, and that was a game that I could have won as well. I just made a misplay. He had Aegislash on my burned Sableye. I could have OCO'd it if I went foul play, because he's gonna attack first, he's gonna go to sword form, and then I can just foul play it, which would kill even through burn. But I went for knockoff, just a misplay. So if I gotten the kill on the Aegislash, I had during that time I still had Axelgor, and I could have swept from there, but I lost, I think, 4-0, and then I lost in the semis. Now, I was confident winning the semis, but the thing is, when playoff started, I had one mock buddy who I was, running mocks with, and unfortunately, that buddy of mine was really demotivated on his performance, and because of that, he didn't really want to help me, mock anymore. So my performance was kinda weakened from playoffs. So I was still able to win quarters, but I lost in the semis. And apparently, Jadon, I think, didn't have to play finals because whoever was playing kinda withdrew. So basically, we could have won. We could have been champion in our first league, but it didn't really matter. From my perspective, I just wanted to make playoffs, but I exceeded expectations by winning, first in my division. Something very impressive, especially considering it's your first league. People don't even expect you to make playoffs, right? So these are like the names of the notable wins we had. Josh R, Paul, Paulie from TCGCBL. Wendell, we only have like one Wendell in like the Facebook community, and Haroon. So these are like notable names. I believe Haroon like has won leagues. Paul definitely one of the big names when it comes to like the Facebook draft community. Josh R, I'm not sure how big his name is, but the reason he's there is because he had like the best team in the league. I made like a team, like a power ranking, and I placed him at number 1, and it was such a tough matchup for us. He had like Mega Pinsir, and if you look at our team, Mega Pinsir destroys our team, right? It just wins. It really just wins. Even quick attack from Mega Pinsir just OCOs like Blaziken, and unless I invest a shit ton of EVs on the defense and run like a flying resist berry, something like that. But yeah, that's gonna be our PML Season 2 run. I'll try to keep this not that long for each league. So our next league is gonna be the PML Summer Draft League. Alright. So, this league, this was actually around 6 months after my first league. Now, the reason for that is Gen 8 just started, and I didn't want to join a league without the meta being developed during that time. So, people were, it was a wild meta. It was a wild meta. It was during the time mons like, what do you call that mon? Corsola was still tier 1, like in Smogon. So, I was like, this mon ain't tier 1. Like, come on. Leagues are gonna market it as tier 1 because they just kind of copy paste, Smogon tiers. But anyway, this is the team we drafted. So, this is still a PML draft. So, one of the wild things for this league is, It's one of those anyone can max anytime league, and which makes it infinitely hard to prep for. So it's not really a league that you can take seriously because a lot of the prep is like thrown out the window, right? Because you can't really prep for everyone maxing. It's just not possible. Like, you can to a certain extent, but it's not really viable. So if you look at the team here, I put Max Durant because that's basically what I ran. I think I only ran like 1 week without Max Durant. I had like a week where I went Max Diggersby. But yeah, and the reason for that was I saw Durant, being prominent in the VGC format. People were running Max Durant during that time, so I was like, oh, okay, so Durant's like probably one of the best Max Mons. We had Dragapult, Obstagoon, Diggersby. Obstagoon and Diggersby just hits really hard. Like, it's so hard to switch into those Mons. We had Brownzong as well as G-Wiz, just good defensive typings. We initially had like Avalug, but then I noticed the team kind of lacks like Spidef walls. So I traded Avalug for like Gigalith. So, we can just invest in a lot of Spidef on Gigalith. And then, with the sand ability, then it gets a lot more bulkier on that side. So another league, another first week or first place for the division. Fortunately for us, I was in the weaker division. The first league we covered, I was in the stronger division. It was definitely stronger than the other division. So there were more killers in my league, in my division, which was, just makes it even more impressive that we got first place in the harder division. In this division, we kind of got a loss because it was basically due to a speed tie that I could have prevented. Basically what happened was it came down to Scarf Heliolisk and Scarf Alola Ninetales. So I kind of thought that the mechanics for the speed tie is whoever goes first will go second and then first. Like, take turns from that point. But apparently that's not the case. It's a coin flip every turn. So basically, he attacked first, and then I attacked, and then I thought, because he attacked first, the next turn, I was gonna attack first. So he actually outsped, and I was like, oh shit, we lost. And what I didn't realize was, I still had Diggersby at 1 HP at the back. Now, what I should have done was, instead of attacking like with Thunderbolt, I should have just went for the Glare. And if I went for the Glare, then that means Diggersby outspeeds Scarf, what do you call this? Ninetales. So I can just hit it with a return and that Okos. So yeah, misplay there. What was really funny about the game itself was it was actually a 0 win because my opponent, I believe that was Jeremy. Jeremy he didn't really, I don't think he, what do you call this? I don't think he genned his mons, so it only had like 5 PP. So with the last Moonblast he used to kill Diggersby, he actually fell to, or no. He hit me with Struggle. He went Struggle, which, KO'd because I only had 1 HP, but he also KO'd himself. So that was an amazing game. I suggest watching that game as well as my semis or the first game I had with Haseen. For those who don't know, if you check like the playlist, he is running like the Gyarados team. He was running Max Gyarados, which is, probably top 2 Max Mons in the format. It's just ridiculous. Max Gyarados can just sweep even without like setup. You can just set rocks and then Max Gyarados and then GG, as well as Stephen R. So Stephen is one of like the top players in Facebook leagues. He's won so many titles. This was a season where he went undefeated. So it was one of the rare instances where you get the two top teams in both division. Uh I was like 8-1 and he was like 9-0 because he went undefeated. He had a crazy season. He had like 4 games where he 6-0'd people, and I'm like, how the fuck are you 6-0ing people in a league where maxing is allowed? That shouldn't be possible. But you know, he was able to pull that off, and we were able to take him down during our game. Amazing prep we did for that. Particularly, we were running Will-O-Wisp Dragapult, which is something I really don't like using, just because, you know, I don't like to use moves that aren't accurate, I guess. You know, I watch too many players miss status moves, and, you know, as much as possible, if there's a way around it, I take that way, even though I would lose, like, differential. Because the win is more important than, you know, a chance for higher differential, in my opinion. So, yeah. So that's gonna be the Summer Draft League. Our next league is the TCGCBL. So this is actually one of the hardest, probably the hardest league we've entered. This was like a 48-player league, which they halved by 24. So like there's a pool of mons for 24 players, another pool for the other 24 players. And I think, for one thing, this is a league where we didn't really perform that well. As you can see, this is our worst performance so far. We had 4 losses, and some of those were misplays, I will admit. Some of our losses previously was just due to like lack of prep. Lack of prep in like season 1. Season 2, our loss was due to like I guess RNG, and you know, if we got the RNG, we won. If we didn't, I still had the chance of winning if I knew that the Diggersby was still alive. But in this league, it's one of those leagues where they had an interesting concept where you have a max mon, but it's determined by the last slot during your team building. So the mon that you put in the last slot is the max mon. So basically, when the team preview starts, you have an idea on you know which maximon your opponent is going to use, so you can like plan during the team preview phase. So this is the team I drafted, which I think is one of like probably maybe the weakest team I've drafted so far. But yeah, we were able to make stuff happen with it. The way the league worked was they had like there was like pools of 6 players, and then you know, round robin there, and then the players with the highest scores are grouped together in like an upper division where they fight, you know, each other. So, and there was like a reshuffling of mons like after first 5 weeks, but it's like the mons you used, you will have to like send them back to the pool, and then another draft happens to like draft another 5 months. It's pretty complicated, but this is like the ending team that we drafted. So that being said, one of the things to note about this league is this is the first league where I had a good matchup and I lost, and that was completely due to a misplay of mine. So, you know, we were getting confidence so far. I also lost to like Paul R twice in this league. So, you know, Paul R is someone we beat in our first season of PML, and then he gets us back this season beating us twice, which is, you know, pretty rare. It doesn't really happen to, you know, dashing, right? So that being said, we were able to top cut. That basically means during or after the regular season, the top 8 players will be moved to like the next phase of the playoffs. So we get like a first round bye. So I barely made, I was exactly number 8. So, you know, this is like a weak team I drafted, in my opinion. There were definitely a lot better teams. Definitely not top 15. So that's what I drafted. And we were able to top cut um, notable wins. James M, during that time, he was like another up and coming, talent. Compared to me, people were like taking notice about my success in like the previous two leagues. This dashing guy, he really puts in work and he's able to get results even though nobody knows him. He's really new. So I was able to beat James M, and then we have Joe S, another another big name in the league. He's had pretty good results. He's like a local for that league. He plays like every season. So he's kind of an established name. So people were surprised when I was able to take him down. We also beat Ricky, one of our teammates for a future league. One of the top players in what do you call this, the Facebook community as well. And then Johan actually beat Paul. I was supposed to play Paul in the quarterfinals, and then Johan was able to beat Paul, but I had a really good matchup versus Johan, so I destroyed him there. It was like a 5-0 win. And then in the semis, I had to face Alex, which was my main training partner during this season. We started like helping each other prep during like week 6, so we had to like play each other, and Alex got the better of me. I think that's also because both of us didn't really get to prep, since our resources was each other. He was able to take me out, and then that ended our run. So yeah, that's TCGCBL, one of the toughest leagues. And our next league is gonna be TPL Season 1. So this is a league we created. This was actually my idea to create this league. I was telling Alex about it, and he was like, let's get like Ricardo on and work on this one, because Ricardo's really good at designing shit. So we created this format wherein it's like ideally the format was gonna be to draft players similar to DPL, but we kind of started with this very simplistic notion of just 3x3, and then maybe grow it from moving forward. But yeah, so we started 3x3. You had to draft a designated Maxmon, so you can actually prep for the Maxmon. This is the team we drafted. Pretty good. Could have been better, I guess. We have Arceus Steel, Spectre, really good, Grimmsnarl, Silvally Poison, Shaymin, Seismitoad, Type Null, Hoopa, Durant. So yeah, we were using Max Durant as well. Just like a throwback. Actually, let me check. Okay, I don't think we had Grimmsnarl there. So that was probably a different mon. I would say it was a Wishy-Washy. So I kind of messed that up. But yeah. So that was basically our team. We had like bulky mons with Wishy-Washy, Type Null, Shaymin, Seismitoad. We had even Arceus Steel, right? Just bulky mons. And we had like hard-hitting mons like Durant, Arceus, Spectre, Mega Altaria. Just power for days. Just, people are saying it was unfair. So yeah, with this much power, it's not surprising we were able to win first place in our division, our bracket basically, and even not just that, but even Alliance, our team, we had like our score for that league was unheard of. We had like I don't think no, I think we lost 1 week. We lost 1 week, but our score was like 20 plus wins and maybe 3-4 losses, and then our differential was like 60 plus, like 6. When have you heard 60 plus differential? Like, that's crazy, right? So we lost 2 games. We lost one versus like Luca. Luca was able to take us out. He had Max Raboot, which was really good versus me. If you look at my team, really good versus me. Because U-turn kills Hoopa, Max Flare kills the Registeel as well as, or the Arceus as well as the Durant. It had high jump kick for type Null. Um, he had other mons, so I don't think I brought Wishy-Washy for that game. And then he also had Necrozma DM, which also destroys my team. I couldn't let Necrozma set up DD because it was so hard to prep for. To give you an idea, Necrozma DM so bulky, it can live a banded knockoff from Hoopa Unbound. That's crazy, right? Super effective, Hoopa Unbound, banded, and it still lives. Holy shit. And the crazy part about that is that's really something I had to watch out for. The mix up between lefties and 2 turns of Dragon Dance versus a rock polish weakness policy set, you could not cover for both of those sets. And both of those sets just beats your sets. And I don't think I could have run I don't think I ran Spectre that week because he had Blissey. So yeah. Spectre is not gonna do anything there. He could just wish pass to the other mon. So yeah, we lost to Luca. And then we actually lost in the finals. We lost to Jesse. Now the reason for the loss to Jesse was he actually had a good matchup versus us. He had like Dragapult, which really checks a lot of my mons. And the ironic thing there was we actually lost due to 2 things. I did not expect him to bring the Sosbach, which was like the only immunity to Spectre. I was running like a Spectre, so I couldn't really change up my moves because I was like, why would I need to change moves? You know, I can just spam Shadow Ball. So not only did he brought that, but the key figure or the key moment in the game that really cost us was I actually mis-EV'd the Arceus Steel. I was supposed to be faster than what do you call this one? Absol, Mega Absol. And I had like 4 to 6 mocks where I always outsped Absol. But apparently it was a speed tie. I was actually speed dying and I kept winning speed dies. And then when the actual game happened, I lost the speed tie. And he was able to hit me with a superpower. So, you know, does a shit ton of damage. Without that superpower, I would have won the game. 100%. Because Arceus Steel would have been perfectly healthy. And I could, you know, make more plays from that. So yeah, we got eliminated in the finals because aside from me, Ricardo also lost. He had a tough matchup as well. He had an OP Mon in Mega Blastoise, but he also had the best counter with the Rillaboom. So he couldn't really set up like, what do you call this move? Shell Smash. Shell Smash on Mega Blastoise. So, that being said, as you can see, we do get the revenge on Jadon from, you know, PML. We were able to take back a loss from him. We kind of destroyed him that week. He was running like a Sun team with Ho-Oh, Torkoal, Venusaur. A strong team, but we ran some sick plays. We were able to beat Jesse earlier in the season, the eventual champion. So we took him out, and then he was able to like win because of, you know, I guess speed tie. But essentially, he was really lucky there because 2 things. He was lucky. I miss Evid the Mon, and he was also lucky with the speed tie. So either of those not happening, he wouldn't have won that. And then Pedro wasn't really a good player, but his team was crazy. He had Max Blastoise, you know, Shell Smash, Max Blastoise, crazy. Top 3. I'd say top 3 top 3 Maxmons in the format, as well as Geomancy boosted Cernias. Another instant win mon. So he had 2 instant win mons, and for some reason he kept throwing games. Throughout the season, he had games where he just needed to keep attacking, but he like switched out for no reason. So I don't know, the guy was probably memeing. So yeah, that was our TPL Season 1 run. Let's go to the next league. So TPL Season 2. So we're back with a vengeance here. We're able to draft maybe our best team so far. Maybe. Question mark. So we got K Black, Tornty, Aegis/, Slowking. We ran Max Heracross. Now if you notice the trend, last season I went Durant, now Heracross. So we went from Hustle to Moxie. And also something to note, I was running Max Mons with 4 times weaknesses. So I don't really recommend that for other players. Because you know it's hard to pilot. It's not easy. I make it look easy because you know I keep winning, but it's not easy. Believe me, a lot of planning and team building and practice. You need to pilot those sets. So yeah, we have Sylveon, solid fairy type. Quag was actually our shared mon. This is the first season that we incorporated the shared mon. So all of our team, me, Alex, and Ricky, was running Quagsire as our chairman. We actually thought this was a good idea just because, you know, having an unaware mon that everyone had access to was good. We could stall out Max Mon. Someone maxes, kills our mon. We bring in Quag. Quag can just recover, stall that, and then it's pretty much useless. You know, hit him with a Toxic. So now the Maxmon, since it's a Maxmon, it can't really sub, right? Unless it, you know, switches out. So it forces so much pressure there. We had Silvally Dark. Just a good psychic resist. As well as, what do you call that? Ghost resist. Because, you know, I'm not running Spectre, which means somebody else's. Dragal, Speed F Wall, as well as Grounded Poison type and Archeops, our designated rocker. So yeah, not surprising with this team. Also in season 1 of TPL, I was in the hardest division, and that's why we lost twice. Season 2, I was in the easiest division, and as you can see, we don't really lose if we're in the easy division, right? So I mean, it is what it is. We had a good run, and we definitely prepped well. So we were able to go 10-0 undefeated. We eventually became the champion. It was close as well. The finals was 2-1. I think Ricky won, Alex lost, and then I won. Or yeah. But I think I played my game first. So I won, and then Alex lost, and then Ricky was able to pull out the W, giving us our first championship in the teams format. So notable wins, Alan. Alan is one of the goons, and the reason he's there is he was running Max Blastoise, which from my experience playing against Max Blastoise, such a hard mon to overcome. And you know, if there's someone who can overcome Max Blastoise, it's definitely me. You know, I'm basically the Max Blastoise killer. So I have experience playing against that mon. So I was confident I was able to pull out the W. We got Tyler. What team? Tyler was kind of a decent name already in the community there. He consistently makes playoffs from what I was told. We have Mike R, one of the Latino boys, who was really making plays. Aucan, another Latino boy who was actually our opponent in the finals. Actually, the season 2 was more competitive than season 1 in the sense that our gap with the wins was not as dominant. We still had a shit ton of wins, don't get me wrong. We had a shit ton of wins. Regular season, me and Alex went undefeated. Ricky, I think, lost a game or two. And we had a similar score, 20 plus wins, one or two losses, and then, 50 plus differential, something crazy. But their team, the Latino boys, they had something pretty up there as well. It wasn't as big of a gap as last season. And then Josie. So this is Joe Zamora, PML boys. I actually beat Joe in PML season 1, but I didn't really put his name on like the notable wins because he wasn't really a player during that time that I thought highly of. He actually was like bottom of the division during that season. So like, I can't put you as notable wins if you're like bottom of the division, right? But during that time, he was already showing great improvement in his battling and building. I mean, it's a team format, so you do have other people helping you out. So yeah, we were able to take out Joe. So that's gonna be our TPL season 2 run. People think the team is so OP. It's not really that OP. Like piloting it, it's not that OP. I thought Curem Black was gonna be really good, but the whole Icicle Spear hitting only 2 or 3 times after a DD, very underwhelming. It looks good on paper, but I'll tell you from the calcs, it wasn't. It's not something you could like bet the game on. Most of the time, I was thinking, if I get 4 or 5 hits, I KO this mon. But I don't play assuming those stuff because if it doesn't kill, then I'm getting killed, something like that. So yeah, K Black was good, but it's not OP. People think it's OP. It's not OP. I can tell you that. So yeah, our next league was SCD. So this is like a goons league run by Seyone. So we had a decent run in this league. I got to run some months I haven't run before. If you notice the trend, we kind of try to draft different mons from what we previously used. So my ending team was Hydreigon that had max capability because I didn't really see better options. I'm not running Max Mian Xiao, that's for sure. Tornty, I guess Tornty could be, but I kind of wanted something more viable because Tornty is like, a regen mon, so you don't really want it to be locked into maxing. So for this season, I had like Hydreigon as well as G-Max Cinder. Maybe we could have done more if it was like regular Cinder other than G-Max, but it is what it is. Slowbro, really good. Registeel, amazing. We got Mian Xiao, Comfey, priority, shit like that. Azu was underwhelming. It was underwhelming. Azu's not that good in this format. Just because, I don't think I came across teams that had Rillaboom, but the thing is, sweepers in Gen 8, if the league has maxing, a lot weaker because you can't sweep. You set up a belly drum, what do? They send out their Maxmon, and you go for like an Aqua Jet, and it's like whatever, they just tank it, and then you kind of lose value from plays like that. So not as good, definitely not. A lot better in Gen 7 or in a league that doesn't have maxing. Reuniclus did really good, really well this season. I was able to make a lot of plays with that. Raichu, I only brought it for 2 games, for like the James W game, because he had like what one did he have? Regieleki. When your opponent has Regieleki and you don't really have like a ground type, you bring Raichu 100%. I did have a ground type in who did I have? Oh no, I think I previously had Piloswine on the team, and then I traded it out for, I think, Raichu. I think that's what happened, or something like, or some other mon. But yeah, I definitely had. Yeah, I definitely had Piloswine this season, but I traded out because, it's hard to justify bringing Piloswine over Registeel. Registeel just overall better. As a rocker, and we didn't really need ground coverage because our mons, we have Torrentee, Hydreigon, Mienshao, and others. So yeah. So yeah, not surprising. Or I guess it was actually surprising. This is another league we were able to win first in our division. We ended up 10-2. Our first loss was to James W. We lost week 2, and we kind of misplayed that. We switched in our Scissor. We switched in Scissor on what do you call this? Or no. We switched in Mienshao on like a bullet punch, and bullet punch or knockoff, and it did a shit ton of damage. And because of that, it was like a roll for bullet punch to kill me, and I was trying to KO the Scissor because Scissor was really walling my team. If I can take out Scissor, I could like start applying pressure, and I kind of fell to like the roll. So yeah, it was definitely a roll. It was actually, I think, a roll in my favor to live because he revealed the set. It was like an AV Scissor. So yeah, so solid win for James. I'm sure he didn't think it was like a big win during that time because I was still like an unknown name for the goons. But if you look at our record, like, how many L's do we take? We barely take any L's, right? So we lost to James. We had an unbelievable run, running over through our division. I think this season the two divisions were pretty equal. We had two players on each, or one player in each division that had like an OP mon. In our division, we had Arik, who had like what do you call this? Urshifu Dark. And then the other division had Tyler, who had Libero Cinder. So yeah, two OP mons. We had a horrible matchup versus Arik, but we were able to get the W. So, notable wins there. We beat Evo, which was like consensus the best player in our division. People were surprised that you beat Evo. And during that time, me and Evo were like top 2 in our division. I think we played week 8 or 9. Maybe 8. So we played pretty late in the division, and it was clear both of us were locked into playoffs anyway. So we both didn't want to reveal too much of our strats. We brought like subpar teams, and I was able to get the better of him there. And then we had a good match versus Sione. Another tough matchup just because he had Max Blastoise as well. Shell Smash, Max Blastoise. Like, how many times are we gonna play Max Blastoise? Smash Max, as I call it. So, fortunately for us, we have experience dealing with Smash Max, so we were able to get the best of Sione there. It kind of came down close in like the end game, and I was able to outposition him and get the W. We actually get the revenge on James M during the playoffs. That was an interesting game. You should watch that. Quarterfinals of the SCD. I'll put the links for the leagues in the description, but they're all on my channel anyway, so you'll be able to find it there. Fair warning, the audio for like the first 2 seasons, first 2 leagues were pretty bad. I mean, it's pretty watchable. You can get what I'm saying, but from the third league onward, it gets a lot better. So yeah, we were able to take out James, and then in the semis, I was able to put Tyler, so I was playing the other player with the Ubermon, Libero Cinder. tough matchup for us, but if you know us, we hold ourselves to a high standard where even tough matchups we are expected to win. So I was able to put Tyler in a checkmate position with the double dance Reuniclus, and he needed to go max Cinder and go for either a bug move, or I guess a bug move because it's gonna be stab, right, since Libero. So he went for like a bug move. It did decent damage, and then I was gonna recover it up. I already had like +2 defense during that time, and he got a crit. So he crit our Reuni, and Reuni was our main win con for that game. Once I scouted, he had like Cresselia, which was the other mon that could have taken us out. Once I scouted that Cresselia wasn't trick, it wasn't like trick choice Cresselia, I was like, okay, holy shit, we can win this. We just need to position Reuni, and we win. But that's Mons, sometimes the better player doesn't win. And that's basically what happened there. I put him in a checkmate position, but I lost to Hacks. What you gonna do, it's the game we play. So yeah, we got eliminated in the semis. So that's gonna be SCT. And we go to our last league. That's gonna be CDL Season 1. So this is actually a it's like a duplicate of a TPL. Very similar format. Difference is megas, no duplicate megas, and no maxing. And the tier list is a bit different as well. But aside from that, similar. A team league. So I was teamed up with Haseen and Alan. I made a power rankings, and I put us tied in first place with another player, I think Kasem. And yeah, people were kind of shitting on that, like, you're bullshitting, your team's not that good, you should be, this was like a 30 player league, so they were like, you should be like just on the 15, whatever. And I was like, I mean, whatever, man, let's like just battle me, right? So solid team. We could have drafted better, definitely. We had like this. They had Shaman Sky in tier 1, which was really good, but also the league allowed HP Ice. So Shaman Sky after like rocks falls to like a generic HP Ice. So it's good, but it's not great, right? It's definitely good, but not great. So I could see people picking this up like first 2 rounds, but it's not really something you like, oh my god, I need to get Shaman. And they also had other Uber picks in tier 1, such as Speed Boost Blaziken, Libero Gren. There was actually a team that dropped out that had Libero, Protein Gren as their shared mon, which was crazy. They basically all had access to like double Uber, an Uber of their choice, as well as Protein Gren. So that was crazy. I actually got to meet Aster J, one of the top players in the community, like of all draft, I guess, one of the top players. And he was able to help me with some of my later games, help me with the drafting. So shoutouts to Aster, my boy. We are actually working on another league, probably in May, where you can draft abilities and basically make some hacks mons, some creative stuff, interesting stuff. During this season, we weren't. I wouldn't say we. Okay, maybe we were in the EC division. I think we could have been in the ECS division, because there were 2 players that kind of sucked in our division. So, immediately that's less competition. So yeah, we were able to finish first in our division. That's like a trend we've had so far. We lost 10-1. We had like a very bad matchup versus a team with a team where we couldn't really set up. Vincent. Shout outs to Vincent if you're watching this. The good thing was, after the playoffs, our team was like top 3. Normally, we do strive to get like top 2 because those are the teams that get a bye. So, we didn't really get the bye as a team, but you know, as an individual, I definitely won my side of the division. That being said, the eventual finalist was PTG. Brian R was one of the players for that team. So I was able to take out Brian, and then Kasim. Kasim was another team because, you know, when playoffs started, they kind of shuffled the order. So chances are you're gonna fight someone different. It's not gonna be a rematch. Basically, the number 1 team in the league, based on like the regular season, the number 1 team of the regular season, I was able to beat 2 of those players. So, you know, it's another feather on your cap. And then the second team, the one that came in second place in the regular season, TGM, they had like 2 Trevor players. So I was able to beat Big Trev in the regular season, and then Little Trev in the semis. So yeah, very solid wins for us. So yeah, that's gonna be basically our league run. So, you know, you can just compute that if you want, like, how much wins did we get. But yeah, we're pretty up there. It kind of reminds me of MV. You know, MV is that guy where, you know, Lord MV, shoutouts. He's one of those players that always wins like first in his division. And I'm not sure about all his leagues that he joined, but there was like a reputation where he always wins first, but he never wins like the championship. So fortunately for us, we do have something similar, which is also always good to have. But we do have some titles on our belt. We have 1 individual, 2 team titles. I mean, the SCD league, we could have definitely won that if we didn't get hacks. And I had like a good matchup in the final, so we definitely could have taken that, but it is what it is. My advice to new players or to players looking to get good at the game, some people will tell you that best thing to do is to play as much games as possible, you know, join as many leagues, but it really depends on how you operate. So if you look at my perspective, I only joined like 7 leagues within like a 2-year span. And that's because I focus on quality versus quantity, you know. What's the point of joining so many leagues if you're not making playoffs, you know? In my case, I put like all my focus in 1 league at a time, and that's how we get these crazy results, you know. First in our division, you know, 10-1, you know. Always finishing semis. Our worst performance was semis, you know, let that sink in. So we're either semis, finalist, or champion, basically. So yeah, that's gonna be the video. If you guys like the content, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to support your boy even more, links to Patreon down in the description, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.